Hello, I am Paula Bennett and welcome to my podcast, Ask Me Anything. I've gone through plenty of ups and downs in my life and I've learned a lot along the way. But now that I've got a midlife crisis reinvention under my belt, I know it's never too late to learn something new. That's why on this podcast, I'm going to be talking to people from all walks of life to hear about how they got to where they are and get some advice and guidance on some of life's biggest questions. Scottish actor Graham McTavish is my guest today. You will know Graham from his role as Dwalin in the Hobbit trilogy, as well as roles in acclaimed shows like Lucifer, House of the Dragon and Outlander. Graham is appearing at Armageddon this weekend in Wellington and next weekend in Christchurch. He joins me now. Hi, Graham.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Not bad.
That's
Not bad.
Good. Hey, there's two really basic rules for my podcast. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay,
right,
the first is I'm allowed to ask you anything, but you don't have to answer.
So I'm not under oath or anything?
You're not under oath.
It's not like a court of law.
No, and it's a podcast, so we like people to talk. So if you went silent, then, that'd be difficult, wouldn't it?
Yes. No, I'll speak. I'll say something. Yes.
And second is that this is a safe space. We do my daughter and I call it the no judgy zone.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that many of the things I will be talking about will deserve judgment.
Yeah.
But it's nice that you're not going to do that.
Yeah, you won't get it from me. I can't speak for every listener.
Just from everybody listening.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, ease us in. Icebreaker questions. Do you have a favourite karaoke song?
Oh, gosh.
Are you a singer?
I've not really done a lot of karaoke, I've got to be honest. I'm not the greatest singer. I can hold a tune, but you wouldn't pay for me in concert, that's for sure. I do remember I was doing a show, it was called Family, years ago. I can't even remember when it was now, about 20 years ago. And the Irish actor who played my brother sang Edelweiss in a karaoke for the rap party. And it has haunted me ever since. It wasn't terrible at all. It was because Edelweiss is a beautiful song. It's in The Sound of Music. It's lovely. It's kind of evocative of this beautiful land and flowers and all the rest of it. And he managed to make it into this dark kind of punk sort of violent rendition of Edelweiss. And I've never seen anything like it before or since. So that's my karaoke contribution.
Wow.
And I don't think I could ever beat that. So I just don't bother.
Yeah. Do you have a dream TV or movie role that you haven't played and you would love to?
Oh, yes. Well, it would have to be, I think, a Bond villain. Just a Bond villain. I don't care what he does. I mean, world domination probably, but just a Bond villain.
I completely get
I grew
that.
up with those guys. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Bond villains.
Yeah.
I love them more than James Bond. They're just more interesting.
True. They write a great villain. There's no two ways about it. Okay, Graham, we're going to talk about your acting career and get some advice from you later on. But the first part, one of our podcasts, is where I learn a bit more about you. So we have to start where any New Zealander's going to start, is how is it that you are living in New Zealand?
Good question. Well, blame The Hobbit, really. That was it. I was living in Los Angeles with my then 4-year-old daughter, who's just turned 16 yesterday. She's downstairs getting ready to go out. We were over in LA and I got The Hobbit. And in getting The Hobbit, they made it very clear that this would require you to move to the other side of the world, basically. And I was mad keen. My then wife, she is a Kiwi. And she was obviously very happy to be going back to her family. I loved New Zealand. I'd been there quite a few times before. And just the whole opportunity of doing The Hobbit, being there, all the rest of it. And once we got here, we just fell in love with it, really. So since then, we made the decision to keep the children here. We had another daughter here. We made the decision because we just believed, rightly so, I think, that New Zealand is one of the best countries in the world to bring up children. And so it has proven to be. So, that was the reason. And since then, I've just been doing A lot of commuting.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. How do you find that commuting, and for the roles that you've got, that obviously there's not that much work in New Zealand, so you'd be travelling a lot.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately, I don't hate travelling, but it is just definitely getting more tiring. I seem to be doing more of it now, actually, than ever. It's fine. When I was doing shows in America, it wasn't quite so bad because that's essentially one flight to LA, direct flight, boom, you do your job, and then you come home. Whereas recently, for the last couple of years, I've been in shooting in London for The Witcher and for House of the Dragon. And that, I mean, you are on the other side of the world. There's no getting around it. So it's a challenge, but, you know, I really miss my kids. So whenever I get any downtime, I come back here.
Do you miss Scotland? And you must still have family there.
Actually, I don't have family there. Ooh. No. I have possibly, second or third cousins there, but we're definitely not really in touch. But my immediate family, well, sadly, all my aunts and uncles are no longer with us now. My parents both passed some time ago. And the rest of them, I have my brother who lives in England and my sister who lives in Canada. In fact, that's where most of my extended families now live. They live in British Columbia. My cousins, my nephews, my nieces, my sister. So, yeah, Scotland, I miss it, but not for the family. I love connecting with Scotland, yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, you've done a bit of TV there, and you've done Men in Kilts, and you've written the book Clanny Lands, and so is that a way of reconnecting to your home country and showing it off, really?
Yeah, definitely. When I went and did Outlander, I'd done a great deal of theatre in Scotland, so obviously, and I grew up there to some degree, there and Canada and England, but my theatre career was really all based in Scotland. But when I went back to do Outlander, I fell back in love with the country, really. I'd been away for quite some time, and it allowed me to really go deep into the history, which is what I'm very, very interested in, the history of the clans of Scotland and the way that history slightly distorts what actually occurred back in the 18th century and all that sort of thing. And I found interesting parallels with my life here, because New Zealand actually, it's also in many ways like a kind of a reverse Scotland. It's just the other side of the world. If you go to the South Island, if you dropped somebody from Scotland in the South Island and took off their blindfold, they would just think they were still in Scotland. And so, I feel that connection with both places because of the things that they have in common, I suppose.
Yeah. Definitely, you can sit in the landscape, can't you, as you say, and the mountains, and particularly that South Island. And Billy Connolly, of course, famously says, the Scots will go to Dunedin, the coldest.
Yeah, they couldn't get enough of it. Yes, it was just a mud hole when they arrived. But this will do. This is fantastic. Just like him.
Would you recommend Scotland as a holiday destination?
Oh gosh, yes. It's a fantastic. The only thing I always say to people who are thinking of going to Scotland on holiday, because they look at the map and they see Scotland, it's like, it seems pretty small, easy to get around. The roads are tiny, really. Apart from the ones very near Edinburgh and Glasgow. So you want to give yourself time to actually see it and experience it rather than just be driving around in a car. So I would always recommend people go for at least 2 weeks, at least. It's a bit like coming to New Zealand. I don't tell people in England, hey, just go for a week to New Zealand, because you just don't even begin to get a flavour of the country in that shorter time. But yeah, I would absolutely recommend Scotland. Yeah,
I love it. I've only been to Edinburgh and Glasgow and did the drive and that sort of thing, but not enough time. Never enough time, is it? Can we talk Armageddon?
Yeah.
It seems nuts. Is it nuts do people really dress up? They just turn up in the thousands and they're just full on into it?
They do. Well, do you know what? It's interesting. I knew nothing about these sort of conventions until I did The Hobbit. And then I think one of the actors on it who'd been in Lord of the Rings said, are you interested in doing a convention? And I said, well, what do you mean? And he explained. And really what's fascinating about that world is that you never see an unhappy person at a convention. They are always having a great time. I mean, they might be exhausted because it's tiring, especially if you're dressed up as Chewbacca or something like that, walking around in a boiling hot suit. But they love it. They absolutely love it. And none of these things existed when I was a kid.
Yeah.
With the idea of meeting somebody that you liked in a TV show or in a film, it was simply not even conceivable to do that. So it's great. And meeting people like me or whatever at these sort of things is only a tiny part of those conventions. There's so many experiences to be had, the community that the people are involved in, and people travel all over to go to these. It's like a wonderful subculture, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got friends that go and are obsessed, right? And the prep that goes in.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously into
yes.
how they're going to dress and then what they're going to do and how they're going to measure their time and whom they're prepared to queue for and whom they're not, what they're going to...
Oh, yes, yes. I mean, they'll have been making these costumes for a year.
Yeah.
Some of them. And they're stunning. I mean, I remember one of the early ones I did, somebody came dressed as Aidan Turner from The Hobbit. They were dressed as Keeley. Mm-hmm. And the costume he was wearing, he could have walked onto the set.
Wow.
It was that good. And I was just in awe of it, really.
Yeah. So you've got 2 children?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes,
and both girls are here in New Zealand? Yeah.
Yeah. 16 and 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've heard you're pretty handy at keeping the boys away. Is that true?
Yes. I joke with my eldest daughter, and it is a joke, obviously. Me dressed in a ghillie suit, hiding in a tree, observing her from a distance, that kind of weird, creepy dad stuff. I remember when I did Rambo, Sylvester Stallone, who at the time his daughters were younger than my daughters are now. Mm. And his advice to me was, when the first boyfriend comes over, just take him into the garden. Just say, I just need a word with Sean. Take him into the garden where there is a freshly dug grave. And you stand and you just observe the grave. And Sean sort of looks at it rather worryingly. And you say, listen, Sean, this could be anything you want it to be. It could be a vegetable patch. It could be anything. We could put a bench here. It's up to you. So just home at 10. That sound good? That was his fatherly advice. God. Basically terrorize a young teenage boy.
That would be terrifying, wouldn't it? It really genuinely would be.
I mean, I pity anybody that has Sylvester Stallone as a father-in-law. Really.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. I've got girls and their boyfriends and one now husband. They always told me that I was far more intimidating than my husband. So there you go. That was all right.
Well, good. Actually, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good because they don't expect that.
No.
So they'll be looking to you for sort of motherly, kind, warm cuddliness, and actually, you're the one that they need to be afraid of. Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely. So no, I was very comfortable with that. So you have been filming another season of Outlander. Yay!
Yes.
You're reprising your role, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh, how's it been?
Yeah, it was great. It was, I have to say, it was slightly odd. It was odd because I've never had that before in any job that I've done where you go back years later and you're the same character. So that was odd. And it was a little bit like an out-of-body experience because I put on the costume and it was the same costume. And I was sort of looking at myself and it was like I was looking at myself from very, very far away. It was very odd at first to be entirely dressed in the same way that I was however many years ago.
Wow.
Suddenly to be doing it again. So it was great. It was lovely to see the cast that I've worked with before, cast that I haven't worked with before, the crew, just, even like the drivers, everybody. It was just such a great family. Yeah. When we started that show, and it was lovely to go back to it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, we're going to take a quick break here, and on the other side, we're going to focus in on your acting career, Graham, and maybe get a bit of advice on people out there that might be thinking about becoming an actor.
Oh, goodness me. All right.
Actor Graham McTavish is with me and I'm excited now to talk about your acting career. First of all, when one tries to look at the list of what you have done, it is so incredibly diverse and long. I mean, you have had so many different roles and done so many different things. Was it planned that way, or have you just taken opportunities as they've come?
No, there's no plan. No, there's no plan. And I defy any actor to come out with the idea that there was a plan. I mean, you can have ambitions, but a plan, no. It's very difficult to plan an acting career. I mean, I guess when you can reach a certain point, you can have a little more choice so that there's planning there. But certainly when you start out, goodness me. I mean, I've done the most appalling acting jobs. I was a petrol pump in some dreadful car convention. I was some cow inspecting vet in a mobile phone commercial for Holland. No plan.
No plan.
You just have to keep moving forward. It's like some kind of war zone. Not a war zone where you're going to be killed or anything, but not that kind of a war zone. But it's tough. It's a tough business.
So why get into acting then? I mean, why
get into it? Well, it's funny that you should ask me that, because I was talking about this to my youngest daughter on the way to school today, funnily enough. And I was talking to her about acting, not that she's expressed an interest to become an actress, but I just said, if you go into something like acting, and there are other jobs like acting that require you to, you have to do it. It's not like you want to do it. You don't sit there and go, oh, maybe I'll become an actor, see how it goes. You have to have such an overriding desire to do it that protects you from all of the knocks that you're going to get, because you're going to get knocked down constantly, especially early on, constant rejection, constantly basically being told you're not what we want. And some people find that very difficult to take. And you have to have almost ridiculous confidence. Delusional, really. You have to be delusional, essentially.
Good advice. I want to make sure everyone heard that. No, there's the advice. So to want to get into acting, you need to be delusional.
You need to be delusional.
Good.
No, it's...
I get
you just need to really, really, really love it, because it's the love that will keep you going.
It's interesting, as you were talking then, because I'm a former politician, and I'd never thought of it like that, but it's actually the same if you want to be a politician, because you're going to get knocked and everyone's going to critique you and you're going to have everything. Yeah. Even trying to become one is actually a really difficult process, right? So you better want it with everything you've got. Yeah. Because otherwise you're just not going to make it. It needs to be
very, very important.
Yeah. I can get that.
And you also need to be, I was about to say you need to be realistic, but actually perhaps you need to be unrealistic. Because realistically, just the statistical facts, the brutal statistical facts are that most people who go into acting never work, never mind do a career. And most people who go to drama school, but everybody at those drama schools, everybody who goes into it believes that they will be the one that will succeed. And they have to. They have to. Otherwise, it's,
So you talked about a couple of those crazy little roles. We talked about what your dream role might be. Is there a role you wouldn't do?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, it's very hard. I mean, there are things, for instance, I haven't been required to do this. Anything that involves violence towards children, anything that is involving children in any kind of abusive way would make me very, very, very uncomfortable. And I completely understand that it's important to explore those things dramatically. I think that it's important that we shine the light on those sort of things, like any difficult drama that we would explore. But me personally, I would find that difficult. I mean, some people find it difficult to just portray violence at all. And clearly, if you look at my CV, I've never had a problem portraying violence. Most of my characters are violent. To me, that's just like an extension of being a child. When you play at those sort of games, those protected games where you're allowed to explore those feelings. And I think that serves a very important purpose in society. But for me personally, something that would involve children, and thankfully I've never been asked to do it, I would I would definitely find that pretty much impossible.
Because do you live a role while you're in it outside of the acting?
No. And it's a funny. I get asked that all the time, really, and I can't speak for other people. I think sometimes there is a cultivated mystique around acting that likes to imply that, like Daniel Day-Lewis becomes a sort of a Native American Indian for 6 months and lives in the woods, and then he makes Last of the Mohicans, and everyone's like, wow, that's so amazing. And I'm sure he did those things, and good for him. And if it helps him get to where he needs to go, then I'm all for it. But I'm the opposite, I suppose. I regard acting as a form of play, and that doesn't diminish it. That doesn't trivialize it. It's just acting allows you to connect with something that we all possessed when we were younger, when we were children, which was the ability to go from chatting to your friends to suddenly you're a princess or you're a cowboy or whatever. And that ability to flip between fictional and real worlds is something that acting allows you to continue to do. And that's how I approach it. So you're more likely to see me cracking a joke just before I do a scene than sitting in a corner, unless it's a very emotional scene. If it's an emotional scene, then you have to draw on things that will help you find those feelings, and that's definitely true. And I like doing research. So if I'm doing something historical like Outlander, I like to immerse myself in that world, but really, honestly, just for my pleasure, really. I don't necessarily think it informs the performance, but it's part of my process.
Yeah, and part of what you enjoy, which makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So these big ensemble shows are becoming more common. How do you find your place amongst a cast like The Hobbit, for example, when you're one of 13 dwarves and, that's just your part of the storyline? How do you find it?
Well, I think it's like any play, any TV show, any film. You are part of a bigger story. It's the story that counts. So you're telling a story. Dwalin in The Hobbit has his role in that story. Gandalf has a different role in that story. I remember, I can't remember who it was that said this, but he was talking to an actor who had no lines, for instance, in a scene. Nothing. He didn't speak. And he said to the actor, you have lots to say. You are just choosing not to say it. And that's a great note because the important thing is that in a scene, say there's a scene of 12 people, that everybody is active in the scene. And that doesn't mean like waving your arms around and being distracting. It means that you are present, and that informs the entire story. So if you as an audience member, say at a play, are watching two people talking on stage and there are two people that are slightly to the side, if those two people just look bored or they're kind of like looking off into the distance, it breaks the scene down completely. So they have as big a role in making that scene work as the people who are speaking. That's my view of acting. That. So, listen, not everybody does it. I've been in scenes, I won't name the people, where you're doing your dialogue to them and the camera's not on them and they just look completely bored. So it's just like, when is this going to be over? But they're few and far between. Most actors are very interested in being present. And most acting is reacting and listening, not talking. So you can tell, I believe, I'm trying to think of good examples. Someone like Clint Eastwood, famous for having very few lines in loads and loads and loads of films. He was the star of the movie, but he didn't talk much. But his presence was enormous, and you watched what he was thinking. And also the camera and television and film tells the audience what to pay attention to and what to listen to. And that can be somebody's just face listening. But all of those things combined tell the overall story.
Wow. So you sort of explore that a little bit more in the way for wannabe actors and actresses out there. All of us kind of want to be Tom Cruise or Cate Blanchett, and yet not many of us will be. You played a lot of those in really good supporting roles, and you were just saying how important it is. So if you're starting out, do you think some aspiring actors actually acknowledge the role of supporting and looking for those sorts of roles more?
Yeah, I think... how would I say it's more that you want to well, first of all, your motivation in becoming an actor shouldn't be to become Tom Cruise or Cate Blanchett. It shouldn't be I want to be famous is your motivation. It certainly wasn't my motivation to become an actor, that I wanted people to recognize me, in the street or something. That wasn't a motivation at all. And I've played leading roles, I've played supporting roles, I've played small roles. I played different type. I played comedy. I've done all these sort of things, and really, it's when you're given the part, or you find the part, or you create the part, and you say, "Okay, this is who I am in this story, and I'm going to make sure that I tell his story within the bigger story to the best of my ability." And it doesn't really matter if you're Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible. Or if you're the guy that's has one scene with Ethan Hunt.
Yeah,
they're all important. So for people coming into the business, the main thing that anybody should do who wants to be an actor is actually do it. Okay. And that doesn't mean waiting by the phone for somebody to give you the opportunity to act. It means getting together with a friend, going out, doing a fringe show, no money. Just getting yourself out there, actually practicing it, or write your own. I wrote a play about Vincent van Gogh that I actually toured to New Zealand in 1994.
Wow. And do you think drama school sets people up well?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't go to drama school. I went to university, and I just happened to go to a college, London University, that it encouraged people. I had a very good professor who wanted people to be active within drama. And so I got to be in loads of plays, got to play lots of big roles in those plays. And so I actually probably did more acting than I would have done at drama school. I didn't get is the technical training, but I sort of learned on the job, I suppose. And I think drama school is one of those things that it suits some people and really it does not suit others. I suspect for me, being somebody that I'm not really very good with authority, so being told what to do constantly, just like, don't discuss it, just do it, I'm not so great at. So I want to be involved in a more creative, collaborative process. But some people thrive in drama schools, and certainly many, many, many very well-known actors, Cate Blanchett being one of them. I think she went to a very prestigious Australian drama school. But I'm sure great Australian actors who've never been to drama school. Yeah. And it just depends. I had a friend at university. He was a year above me, and he was one of the best I've ever worked with. Full stop. 40 years. Fantastic. Wow. He had great roles. And then when he left university, he did a year at drama school, just 1 year. And the drama school managed to take away from him the very thing that made him special, that made him different. Yeah. And I think that can sometimes be the danger, that it molds you into being their kind of actor rather than the actor that you could create yourself.
Good advice, good advice. I mean, if we think about The Hobbit, if we think about your role in House of the Dragon, you're wearing an suit of armour. And then we've got The Hobbit, which was, of course, hours and hours and hours of prosthetics and costumes and goodness knows what. The way I saw it behind the scenes was that most of it's done with CGI and that sort of thing. So, how do you cope with the costume and the makeup sort of side of it? And then is it very different acting with the CGI and the green screens and things?
I mean, with The Hobbit, actually, there was CGI, Dragon and all the rest of it. But a lot of it was actual practical sets. So like Lake Town was an entirely created, massive town floating in the car park of Stone Street Studios, which was just astonishing.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
We have these giant sets, and same with House of the Dragon. You walk into the throne room of of that show, and you see the Iron Throne, you see these giant statues, and that's hugely helpful because it creates a physical environment for you wherein you can just sort of let it take care of itself, really. You fit into that world. You're wearing a suit of armor, but you're surrounded by people who are in armor. Yeah. So it's all fine. I mean, when I did Aquaman was all CGI, and that was kind of weird. I do remember one of the scenes I had to do in that. I was conducting the ocean as King Atlan, one of those things you do when you go to work, conduct the ocean. Yeah. And I was standing there conducting the ocean. And when you watch the movie, there are dolphins leaping around because I'm just sort of manipulating them and they're all in love with me and all this sort of thing. I was in a car park in the Gold Coast. It was the most unglamorous, depressing environment imaginable. So that can be a bit challenging. But as far as the costumes are concerned,
fascinating to watch it afterwards.
Totally.
What they do with it, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But the costumes, The Hobbit was the heaviest I've had. That was about 33 kilos. Wow. The whole thing. And so we had to train a lot for that, like months and months of physical training to be able. Well, I did, and I know Richard Armitage and Jed Brophy and Dina Gorman, Aidan, we all trained really, really hard for it because we wanted to be doing the fighting, blah, 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 and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, as Richard Armitage said at the time, he said only 13 people, well, plus John Rhys Davis, I suppose, who was in Lord of the Rings, will ever know what it was like to be in those outfits. And I remember Peter Jackson actually, for half a day, was put into dwarf makeup and costume. And he said, after half a day, he said, I have no idea how you've been able to do this. Wow. But, it's amazing what you get used to. It really is. Yeah. You just tough it out. Jed Brophy, for instance, never sat down. Yeah. I never saw him sit down. Wow. He was so tough.
And you love what you do, right?
Oh, yeah. Good. Look, absolutely. Yeah. That's the other thing. I mean, there were people that would have cut their right arm off to be in those movies. And so I never took it for granted. I always appreciated every single day. Even when I was feeling absolutely done in, I would remind myself, this is an incredible, incredible thing that's happening. So
it's a privilege, yeah. Hey, so would you recommend acting to young people?
Yeah, it's difficult because I don't want to sound like I'm trying to discourage people. It's kind of connected really with what I said earlier, that as long as you really, truly want to do it, I would never stand in the way of anybody becoming an actor because I've had a wonderful time doing it and I still enjoy it. I wouldn't particularly encourage people to become actors. I wouldn't say, hey, there's a shortage of actors, we need more, because there just isn't. Yeah. There isn't a shortage of actors. They're everywhere, especially if you go to LA. It's like every person, third person you meet is an actor. But I recommend it. I can recommend it as a career that I have really enjoyed. And if you are creatively inclined, if you enjoy performing, if you like being part of that kind of a communal experience, then yes, I would definitely recommend it.
It's a little bit like with politics and, budding politicians always ask to see me, and I just always think you just got to know what you're going in for, as long as you're going in with your eyes open. The passion.
Absolutely. Go in with your eyes open.
Yeah. Why would we put people off?
Like being a parent. Yeah. You're a parent, go in with your eyes open. It's not a picnic.
Well, no, it's not always. Okay, to end things, I have a segment called Zip It Sweetie. So this is where you get to have a bit of a rant about either someone or something that might have brassed you off or...
How long have you got?
Oh, really? Yeah. You've got that. You're a Scot in New Zealand. I'm sure you can do a lot. I get to have one as well, though. I'll go first. My rant for this week is, for goodness sake, open up our borders, let more people into New Zealand. Immigration should be easier, not harder. How can you not let partners work who you do let in, because we desperately need them? I've been talking to Graham today. He's a great example of someone who's living in New Zealand and raising his family, and we love having you here and we need more, please. That's my rant.
Yes. I think especially the point you made about people who are partners of people who are already here. It's just crazy. I don't understand that at all. Oh, I mean, my sort of pet peeves, I mean, they're not nearly as sort of, I mean, your rant is actually really quite far-reaching and actually inclusive. And my pet peeves are those things that annoy me so much. One of the top ones, I think, is people who just have conversations on their phone in restaurants or cafes, the full volume. They're just talking into their phone, and the person's coming back, and you're trying to. And I truly can never understand why they do it. I mean, headphones exist. Headphones. I don't understand it. And so I have to say, I am not someone who's shy of asking people to please stop doing that. Oh, yes. No, I'm that guy.
I love that.
If somebody pushes me in a queue, I'm the guy that goes, get to the back. I guess my overall thing is that I believe in good manners and respecting other people. And when I see people doing the opposite, it really upsets me.
You must, because you travel so much. I'm now taking a second rant, but my one is plane etiquette. Plane etiquette. Yeah. You get off the plane in the order of the seats in front. You don't try and push past someone that's coming out.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
If you're in the middle seat, then you get the armrests. And that is just polite to actually acknowledge that and give that to them.
Yeah, no, I know. It's funny, you know, anything that involves groups of people being in close proximity to each other doing stuff. I mean, my ex was telling me just the other day about some guy on a plane coming back from Hong Kong to New Zealand and just being abusive to the staff, and shouting. And I mean, I've got to say, I would have very quietly said something. I wouldn't have been aggressive. I would have just said, hey, you need to stop.
Yeah.
Because there are other people here. There are children here, you know, and when I see people encroaching on other people's rights or their personal space or whatever it is, then that's when I always speak up.
Good on you. Good on you. I unfortunately sometimes go a little bit sarcastic. So if someone pushes in front of me, I'll go, oh, you're obviously in a real hurry.
Yes.
You know, go ahead, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's the ones that say, oh, I didn't see you there. And I say to them, I'm 6'2". Yes, I'm bald, bearded, 6'2" man standing right in front of you. I didn't see you there. I'm like, yeah.
I'm not so sure.
Anyway.
Okay, Graham, thank you very much for your time. It's been so good to talk to you. I really appreciate you taking the time out to chat. If you want to catch up with Graham, it is he'll be at Armageddon, Wellington this weekend and Christchurch next weekend. Looking forward to it?
Indeed. I am. I've done a couple here in New Zealand. Always enjoy them. They're really great fun, great occasions.
Fantastic. And that's it for another episode of Ask Me Anything. You can get in touch with me by emailing askpaula@nzherald.co.nz. Please feel free to send me through your questions for the podcast or any thoughts you have. You can always find me on Facebook, Instagram or LinkedIn. Make sure you follow Ask Me Anything on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also read my weekly column in the Herald on Sunday. I'm Paula Bennett. Ask Me Anything. Goodbye.